Massive problems for the industry as more riders are dropping like flies. Hey everybody, Walty Wanderers, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard hitting, pull no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows or sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. Let's jump back on the Moto merry-go-round and examine the good, the bad, and maybe a little bit of the ugly.
No, Walty only examined rainbows and sunshine and Pride Month.
No. Somebody's got to read between the lines and look. Between the ruts, we got some ruts to look through today, don't we? A lot of ruts developing out there in the industry, bros. And here's the thing. It's only getting worse. You know, back in the day, when Walty was in the industry, you know, we always had the field thin out at some point during Supercross and outdoors, right? But with the introduction of the playoff,
SMX,
and SMX, trying to rebrand this whole mess to try to create more dollars for shareholders, basically. And, you know, that's really what's created the Moto swamp, at least taking it to the depths that it's in now. It's all about money. And the reality is this: there's nothing wrong with growing the sport, but not when it becomes obviously exploited. And who's getting exploited? You guessed it, the riders. The riders are the ones being exploited. Now, if you're at the top of the food chain and making big bucks, you're like, by all means, put me into the Moto machine just as long as I'm getting paid. And that's your Danger Boys and your Jetsons. And that's pretty much it. Those two dudes are cashing in the hardest. But for the rest of the riders, they're just going along for the ride, trying to eke out a living. And if they play their cards right, they might be able to retire from the sport with enough money to live a modest, comfortable life without having to work again. Now, most of these guys will be young, but they won't want to just sit at home and do nothing. And they're going to need a job at some point, at some level. Hopefully, it's just managing their investments. But the reality is this: we have more riders now. See, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Because like I said, back in the past, yes, riders would thin out towards the end of the season. Now what we're seeing is riders just bowing out. They're bowing out because why stay in it if there's no other reason to stay in it? Jalek Swoll out. Aaron Plessinger out. Chase Sexton out. Now a lot of these guys are out like Plessinger.
Yeehaw, shake and bake, baby. I feel like crap, Walty.
Due to pure fatigue, because he's the type of dude, he will keep racing until the wheels fall out. He loves being out there, and he knows he makes more money if he's out there, and he's not in the upper echelon of pay scale that can just decide he doesn't want to race. He needs to be out there. But you get like Chase Sexton. He had another get off. He's a big question mark right now. We know for him that he's basically over it at KTM. He wants out. He's out. He's gone. So for him, like I think at first he wanted to come in, get ready for SMX, get some grapes. Well, he admitted as much. He pulled the industry's covers. He said, I wouldn't even be back. But it was kind of tricky this way this new format is structured. And that brings us really into the meat and bones, where we're going to circle the wagons today of this topic. You see, the playoffs, well, at face value, are kind of cool. It's a decent pace. Because before the playoffs, what did we have? An off-season money race, an invitational. And for all intents and purposes, that's what these are. But they're kind of packaged up a little differently. And they're really just another race. But you got to qualify in. Otherwise, you're going to the LCQs to try to make the mains. And so in all intents and purposes, it's almost like an invitational. Personally, like I said, back in the day, when I was in the industry, we had the U.S. Open of motocross at the MGM Grand Arena. It was really like putting the pro riders in an arena cross, which was kind of cool. And it was a big payday, and it was glitzy and glammy, and it was in Vegas where it should be. This is like, you know, gladiator games, blood sport, right? This belongs sometimes in. This is like cage fighting on a motorcycle, and that's the way this sport was built. But now we're trying to, you know, rule books getting thicker. It's the size of a phone book, and we also had the Monster Million was a nice invitational race, and that was always at Sam Boyd Stadium in Vegas. But what's happening now with the playoffs? It was really World Supercross that forced, I believe, the playoffs. Now, it could have been structured and created prior to World Supercross. But I think World Supercross, I think, had a big hand, because when they first announced what they were doing with Ralph and Jeff, and these big money races, and all the top pros are like, I'm in, dude. That's a big payday. Like, I'm in. Then the playoffs were born. And they tried to repackage this with this SMX, and they got Ricky to be the mouthpiece, and every other word instead of Supercross or Monster Energy Supercross, it's like SMX. Back when I raced SMX, back when I was an SMX champion, it's like, dude, it's so obvious. You were never an SMX champ. You were a Supercross champ. You were a motocross champ. Indoors, outdoors. That's what we had with an invitational. In the offseason, a money race. It was great. If it's not broke, don't fix it. It wasn't broken. What broke was the industry infiltrating it. And then it became blatantly obvious when we started to have stars of other sports as guests to the race and then interviewing them.
I'm a gold medalist in swimming, and I'm really happy to be here. It's so fun. These guys are crazy.
Whatever. I mean, it's become shameless. Telemundo! It's insane. It's just so clear as day. But the industry, in fact, has shot themselves in the foot, because now it's to the point where these riders, they're like Kickstart Kenny's back, right? That'll be interesting. That's going to be a fun story. What do you guys think? Where does he fit in? My guess, there's no pressure here. I'm just coming back to get ready for SMX. That's all there are. We saw what happened to Chase when he came back to try to get ready for SMX. We'll be lucky if we have Aaron Plessinger back for SMX. And if he does, what Aaron Plessinger do we get? Jalik Swole. I just saw he's out. He's out for the remaining of the outdoors, right? So, I mean, most of these guys at this point, they're like, why? Why? Let's just get ready for SMX. Where before, it wasn't like that. Now, I love SMX. I think it's great. I love these tracks. I love having more races. As a fan, I love it. I love it. But as a rider, I'm not sure how much I love it. Now, again, these tracks, there's 3 races. And while they do have the last one in Vegas, it just doesn't seem to deliver the way Monster Million at Sam Boyd, or the U.S. Open at MGM Grand, or even the Vegas finale. Same type of fireworks that those other races delivered. It was a chance, it was a party, It's all business now. The party atmosphere has been removed. And final thoughts. I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a moto guy that wants to see not only win on the track, off the track. Understand the waters you're swimming in now. They're shark infested. Industries, SMX, Ricky. Welcome to the swimming pool, man. This is getting gnarly. Your riders are dropping like flies. They don't want to show up these things unless they're getting paid. SMX is a payday. That's the only thing they're showing up for now. Now they're tapping out of the outdoors. Even guys that are healthy or could stay out there or normally would stay out there racing are not. It should be an off-season money race. But instead, it's this little mini championship all in one. That's why Walty will be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way. Because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next video. And there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Don't go over the bars. God bless. And I'll see you on the next video.